Peter Pan and the Pirates is an American animated television series based on J. M. Barrie's Peter Pan that originally aired on Fox Broadcasting Company from September 8, 1990 to September 10, 1991. Repeats continued to air until September 11, 1992. A repeat of the series' Christmas episode was aired on December 25, 1993. The series was then on Fox in rerun form on weekday mornings from November 4, 1996 to March 28, 1997. Reruns were then shown on Fox Family in 1998. Plot: the television show focuses as much on the pirates as it does on Peter Pan. Captain Hook and Mr. Smee traditionally are the only pirates who receive any attention in the story, but here, the other crew members of the Jolly Roger are given distinct personalities and character development. A real force to be reckoned with, Hook is a powerful, temperamental, cultured, intelligent, and charming pirate with an insatiable thirst for vengeance. Some attention was also given to the Native American characters. They and their customs were often featured in the storyline. One episode featured Wendy's daughter Jane. Jane, from the future, visits the Neverland. At the end of the episode, Wendy is a little sad because she knows that this existence from her daughter means that one day Wendy will leave Neverland and grow up. Production: the on-screen title was given as Fox's Peter Pan and the Pirates as to emphasize the fact that this was an independent production by 20th Century Fox, unrelated to the Disney feature or other previous media incarnations of the Peter Pan property. Characters. Main characters Peter Pan, the titular protagonist of the series and the main leader of the group, which includes 10 children with him. He has dark brown hair worn in a ponytail. The Peter in this version wears a dark brown costume, which distinguishes him from other versions, in which he normally wears green. He's always up for a challenge and game for adventure no matter how perilous. He sees everything as a game, doesn't notice the bad consequences or his mistakes and doesn't get wiser after the event. He can't read and forgets nearly everything. The most important thing for him is having and playing games, where he knows and accepts the rules, but not once finds it more funny and interesting to change them or play something else. As in Barrie's novel Peter and Wendy, and the other versions he can imitate other people's voices, where he regularly imitates the one of Hook, what saves difficult situations. He enjoys his confrontations with Captain Hook. Despite his cockiness, recklessness, headstrongness, and selfishness, he still always manages to come through in the end. Even though he may be naive, stubborn and always up for fun and games, he knows and recognizes the danger and cares for his friends. In Slightly in Stone, he even abandons his trapped boot in order to return in time with the golden acorn needed to save Slightly from remaining stone forever. He is the good guy and cares for the justice and a happy end, however whole peace and harmony is not for him. It's very important to have action, where danger and adventures belong to. He'd never allow that it would ever come to the end of Hook, because this way the place and his life would become quiet and boring. He does everything to keep Hook, the pirates and the Jolly Roger in Neverland. Tinker Bell, a red-headed fairy and Peter Pan's sidekick. She's often the more practical of the two and is there for him and the others to get them out of jams if and whenever she can. Wendy Darling, a girl who wears a pink dress, has short black hair and crown made of white flowers. She is the oldest of the Darling siblings, her two younger brothers are John and Michael Darling. As in the novel, she's very tidy, can't stand a mess, is like a mother for the boys and tells them bedtime stories. Peter claims that girls are smarter and more intelligent than boys, and Wendy is often calmer and more mature than the rest of the group. She also believes even Captain Hook isn't really a bad person and has feelings. But also she likes playing games and having fun and can take part in playing a joke on someone. She's often closer to Peter than anyone else and spends the most time with him. She can be in trouble, where the others, especially Peter, care for her. It happens that she refuses taking part at the adventures and the fights, but is generally an active person and has a big participation in the action. John Darling, the middle Darling sibling. Wendy's and Michael's brother. He has hazel blonde hair and wears a brown bowler hat or derby. It's obvious, that his main place is in the Darling family, but not once he can be seen also as one of the Lost Boys. He also shares the bed with them and often fights with the pirates using a magic sword of wood, which always grows again after breaking, as it does with the 6 Lost Boys. The big difference is that he wears more formal clothes and more often takes off his headdress. From all the friends, he's the one who spends the most time with books. It can be seen that he can read. He likes making notes and writing journals and enjoys painting, and not once leads himself more by his knowledge and his mind, not by greenness or desire for games and adventures. Michael Darling, Wendy and John's brother and the youngest of the Darling siblings. He has light brown, curly hair and wears blue, overall-like, footy pajamas. As in the novel, he is the youngest and smallest of the group and has a big basket as his bed, and sometimes he is slower and more frightened, so Peter and the others must look after him. He loves playing around, having fun, and especially enjoys running after animals. Even if being the pet of the family, and often not able to take part at the action, he doesn't like and prefer being the passive one and doing nothing. He can take part at the fights and adventures and not once comes out as the only one who can save the situation. The Lost Boys, a group of 6 orphan boys who are confederated with Peter Pan. They only remember their life in Neverland, don't know how it is and looks beyond this world, so they don't have their own families. Their home and place is at Peter's. Their clothes are informal and a little disrupted. They all wear caps shaped from various animal heads, which are a very big and important part of them. Taking them off is really a very special rarity. They spend all the time wearing their caps, even if they go to bed, change their all-day clothes or take a swim in trunks. Not once they have some other headdress, but their main cap hidden under it, but can also have only another cap. There can be a situation where they need to take them off, or because of an accident they fold them off. Nibs, the eldest of the Lost Boys with the most mature voice. He is tall and slim, has blonde hair and wears a cap shaped like a bear's head with a face cut out. He is Peter's second in command and makes the orders when Peter is absent. He's the one who is qualified for this role for being the most responsible, sensible and mature when making decisions. However, also he not once has a changeable being, where he can become a little too brash and confident and likes to be in spotlight, and then another time rather quiet and reluctant and taking either none or at least very little part of the action. He loves having fun, can also act naively and irresponsibly, and sometimes can be a little too slow and inattentive and doesn't note the danger or everything around him. He knows what to do when acting as the leader, but also listens to Peter and the others when they have other ideas. Slightly, the tallest and second eldest Lost Boy. He has pale skin, honey blonde hair and wears a cap in the shape of a parrot's head. As a reference to his name, he constantly uses the word slightly in his sentences. His ambition is to be Peter's second in command, but when he is appointed such, he finds he is not cut out for the position. He is often naive and immature when making decisions which can cause trouble for the others. It's important for him to take part at the action, but also can prefer the calmness and staying out of the danger and adventures. He sees Peter and the others as his family and also is very important to them. Even if not being the leader, he can take the orders, knows what to do during a battle and has his role in the gang of Lost Boys, where he knows how to act and behave. From the pirate crew, he is the closest to Billy Jukes. Curly, a Hispanic Lost Boy with a cap shaped like a tiger's head with a face cut out. He has a tanned complexion, caramel brown hair and a very slim figure. From the age, he is exactly in the middle of the Lost Boys, where Nibs and Slightly are older and the twins and Tootles are younger, so because of this and also his way of acting, he's neither the leader nor the pet of the family. It's obvious and all naturally he has his role and place in the gang of Peter and the Lost Boys, where it's no problem for him to take the orders from the leader and or to discharge his duty, and he also knows what to do when fighting. He has a sense of humor and loves having fun, but also knows and recognizes when the situation is more serious and there is no time for laughing and joking around. He is very believable and it's very important for him not to be seen by the others as useless or clumsy. He tries to act in a more determined and independent manner. The twins, 2 Lost Boys who aren't identical, aside from both wearing caps in the shape of a leopard's head with cutouts in the front for their faces. Individually they're known as tall twin and short twin, their heights being the main distinction. Other distinctions are their complexions and hair color, tall twin having a darker complexion and black curly hair, and short twin having lighter skin and red straight hair. Short twin looks a little plumper than his bigger brother. They're so synchronized that they accomplish more when they work together and often finish each other's sentences. They also do practical everything together and are never apart. They are known as the mechanics and inventors in the group, and most of their activity is creating, building and testing their own inventions and machines. In the episode The Great Race, they fall out and find themselves unable to act normally, as they would when together, and their inventions fall apart. Tootles, the youngest of the Lost Boys, who wears a cap in the shape of a panda's head with face cut out and has a black blotch around his left eye. He is very small and has a round stomach, but because he loves eating and always finds time for this. As created by Barrie, he's often clumsy, which can cause problems for the others when looking for adventures. He can also become too sensitive, especially when getting judged or not noticed by the others. Even though he has his role in the group, knows what to do when fighting, can come out with the idea how to save the situation, and is referred to in the episode Tootles and the Dragon. He's the most patient of the group. Of the Lost Boys, he is the one who is the closest to Michael. Generally his position can be seen thanks to Michael. When Michael is at the same place, Tootles is not the little one and the helpless, but more mature and independent and equal with all the older boys of the group. But not once, especially when Michael is not around, Tootles, as being the smallest and youngest Lost Boy, comes out to be the pet of the family, where the others must look some more after him. Villains: Captain James Algernon Cloudesley Hook, the main antagonist of the series and Peter Pan's nemesis. As his name implies, James Hook is the head of his pirate crew. Although he's well known for his ruthless and nefarious nature, the Hook in this version is more complex and in many ways closer to the portrayal in Barrie's book. References to Peter Pan feeding Captain Hook's hand to the crocodile is still intact. Rather than the traditional long black hair and long moustache, this Hook is clean-shaven and has his white hair styled in the manner of a powdered wig. In contrast to his bumbling crew, Hook is very much the aristocrat, and is very well read and charming in a sinister way. He also is very good at playing a harpsichord, despite the loss of his hand. Two members of his family are mentioned: his brother Patch, who owned his own pirate ship called the Rake, and his mother, who is referred to as having had some unfulfilled wishes about her son James and being already dead, the only thing left of her memory being a portrait that Hook has in his cabin, but never is shown completely. However, it is strongly implied that she was hideously ugly. As generally having a very rude and cruel character, he has a weakness for mothers, not only his own, but also strange mothers, and can become sensitive when he hears of her thoughts or feelings. Smee, Captain Hook's loyal bosun and the closest he has to a friend, although he rarely seems to appreciate it. Smee's weapon is a sword he names Johnny Corkscrew. He is small, but not very fat, has grey hair and pale blue eyes. The main difference from the other pirates is that he is often clumsy and not really able to capture one of the Lost Boys. Gentleman Ignatius P. Starkey, a foppish, gentlemanly English member of Hook's crew who is believed to be the first mate. He speaks with a dash-it-all accent, is very good with an IPA copyright, and in A Day at the Fair we learn he is also a good pugilist. Robert Mullins, a member of Captain Hook's crew who hails from Brooklyn, and tends to clash with his leader more than anyone else on the ship. Although he has referred to Captain Hook as the finest pirate who ever lived, he sometimes schemes to take over command. He also is deeply superstitious and prone to land sickness. Robert is good friends with Billy Jukes and has taught him about pirating. He is big, muscular, has brown hair, a long face, long mustachios, and a scar on his left eye. He is very good in sword fighting. Billy Jukes, the ship's gunner and the youngest pirate who is of Old World Indian descent. He was once a castaway on a desert island until he was rescued by Captain Hook's crew and was taught pirating by Robert Mullins, to whom he is very loyal. He is slim, has dark skin and black hair that often conceals one eye. As being responsible for the cannons, he is never far away from the big cannon, Long Tom. He cares to keep it clean and sometimes also sleeps on it. Not once does he cooperate with Peter and his band where it can come out for him as being a liar and traitor, but sometimes he shows he really has a good heart and cares for the boys. Eucrates Cookson, the ship's disgusting chef. He is fat and small and a miserable singer. His weapon of choice is his meat cleaver. Alf Mason, a member of Hook's crew who serves as a carpenter and a strongman. Although he fears Hook as much as the rest of the crew, if the pirates are doubtful about an order from the captain, he is usually the first to voice it. He wields a mallet. Short Tom, Captain Hook's mischievous one-eyed pet parrot, is capable of speaking, but is limited to phrases obviously taught to him. Frequently tries to alert the pirates when he sees Peter Pan sneak aboard in episodes including Hook's mother's picture, but because of his limited speech he usually fails to get them to understand. Captain Patch, also known as Jasper Hook, is the older brother of James Hook, who once served as his midshipman. Hook took out Jasper's eye years ago when Jasper wouldn't give James a bigger share of their loot, and he wore a patch ever since, which is why he is known as Captain Patch. Presumably Patch died not long afterwards, and his chest of treasures somehow ended up hidden in a cave in Neverland with a curse. When Peter, John, and Slightly found the lost chest and removed an emerald, it ended up summoning Captain Patch's ghost, who then summoned his ghost ship called the Rake in order to take revenge on his brother. Nothing that Captain Hook's crew shot at the Rake could sink it due to the fact that the Rake is a ghost ship. When Peter Pan, John, and Slightly tricked Hook into firing the treasure towards the Rake, it was enough to banish Captain Patch and the Rake back to the spirit world. Jasper later appeared in Hook's Christmas, where the Ghost of Christmas Past shows Captain Hook his past when he used to work with his brother until the incident that led up to Jasper's loss of an eye. His spirit later appeared as the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come. Other characters Crocodile, this was the same crocodile that had devoured Captain Hook's hand. A ticking clock is heard every time the crocodile is near. In the series, the clock is a magical clock that controls all the seasons in Neverland. Indians, a tribe of Indians that reside in Neverland and often help out Peter Pan and the Lost Boys. Actually, only 3 of them figure prominently in the series, the rest was seen only briefly in the episode Pirate Boys, Lost Men. Great Big Little Panther, the Indian chief and father of Tiger Lily and Hard to Hit. He's very wise and often assists Peter and his friends when they have problems. Tiger Lily, the daughter of Great Big Little Panther and sister of Hard to Hit. She and her brother sometimes tag along with and aid their friends Peter Pan, Tinker Bell, the Darling siblings and the Lost Boys on their many adventures. Hard to Hit, Great Big Little Panther's son and Tiger Lily's younger brother. He is very active and knows the weapons of his tribe and how to use them. Mermaids, a group of young women, who are half human and half fish. They live in the sea and are most seen at the Mermaid's Lagoon or nearby. They're vain and care for their looks and good appearance. They enjoy playing, joking and having fun and collecting items from the land. From all the humans who live above the water they only like Peter and no one else. Crooked Tail, a mermaid. She was once beautiful, but conceited and haughty until a potion to enhance her beauty went horribly awry, turning her into a green-skinned hag. In Vanity, Thy Name is Mermaid, she helped Peter Pan rescue Wendy from 2 mermaids who tried to turn Wendy into a mermaid. Girl in the Moon, a blonde girl in a turquoise dress who is responsible for bringing the night by replacing the sun that appears during the day with the moon at the normal time. King Kairos, the Ice King of Neverland. He owns a giant ice cave with lots of corridors and tunnels and has some elves as his suit workers. In fact, he's not one of the bad guys. The conflict with him was started by Peter, who just entered the king's home without any permission and took away a crystal claiming it was his own. Jane, Wendy's daughter from the future. She appears in the Lost Memories of Pirate Pan. Luck, a grumpy giant troll. He appears in the Never Arc, Slightly in Stone, the Never Scroll, A Day at the Fair, and Count de Chauvin. Differences, The following show the differences from the book or other Peter Pan versions. This series doesn't feature a beginning introducing the whole Darling family nor explain how Peter takes Wendy to Neverland. From the first episode they already live in the underground house, know Hook and the pirates and are friends with the Indians. In other versions, Peter always wears his dagger next to his waist at the belt, but in this version he has it attached to his right boot. In the book, Tinker Bell has her own fairy language, which Peter understands. Likewise, she doesn't speak in most other versions, Peter Pan Burbank or Peter Pan Live, but makes tinkling or other sounds. In this version and some others she can speak normally the human language. In the novel, Barrie describes Tink's figure as somewhat plump. She was slightly inclined to embone point, but in this version she is portrayed as slim. In Barrie's novel and other versions Captain Hook's hair is black, but here it is white. In the episode After the Laughter Hook's hair is shown as fair in his youth, not black. In most other versions Captain Hook becomes frightened, panicked and almost petrified when hearing the ticking of the clock, indicating that the crocodile is close. In this version his behavior is inconsistent. Hook often is ready to brodel, when he notes the presence of the crocodile. In the original book and some other versions, John wears a stovepipe hat, The Adventures of Peter Pan, or Peter Pan Live. Here, he is a derby. The look of the figures is not much described by J.M. Barrie, but in most of the other versions Wendy is either blonde or has at least lighter hair, or Hook and from the Darling siblings the lightest hair color, The Adventures of Peter Pan Burbank, The New Adventures of Peter Pan, or Peter Pan Live. While frequently her brother John has the darkest hair color, Peter Pan Burbank, or Peter Pan Live. In Peter Pan and the Pirates Wendy with black hair has the darkest and John being dark blonde has the lightest hair color from the Darling siblings. As described in the novel and in some other versions, the twins, two of the Lost Boys, are identical twins, Peter Pan Burbank, or Peter Pan Live. However in this version they look very different. One is short and Caucasian, the other is taller and clearly African. They are recognized as twins by wearing similar caps and doing everything together. In the novel Barrie describes the clothes of the Lost Boys as being skins from bears they'd once executed. Here they wear normal clothes and from animals they have only caps of their heads, that are an important part of them. And only two of them, Nibs and Tootles, have caps from bears' heads, the rest of the boys have other animals. In other Peter Pan movies or series in Neverland only Peter is able to fly all the time, while the Darlings only do it for coming there, The Adventures of Peter Pan Burbank, or Peter Pan Live. And everyone else can fly only when Tink gives them her fairy dust, effective only for a finite period of time. In Peter Pan and the Pirates not only Peter, but also his closest friends, the Darlings and the Lost Boys, can fly all the time. Episodes. Cast: Chris M. Allport, Tootles, Jack Angel, Robert Mullins, Cookson, King Kairos, Luck, Michael Bacall, Short Twin, Adam Carl, Nibs, Tim Curry, Captain James Hook, Debbie D. Rebury, Tinker Bell, Linda Gary, Crooked Tail, Ed Gilbert, Smee, Captain Patch Jasper Hook, Whitby Hartford, Michael Darling, Tony J., Alf Mason, Josh Keaton, Curly, Christina Lang, Wendy Darling, Erin Liu, Hard to Hit, Tall Twin, Jack Lynch, John Darling, Jason Marston, Peter Pan, Scott Minville, Slightly, David Shaughnessy, Gentleman Ignatius Starkey, Kath Soucie, Girl in the Moon, Cree Summer, Tiger Lily, Eugene Williams, Billy Dukes, Michael Wise, Great Big Little Panther. Crew: Michael Bell, Voice Director, Lee Dan Natcher, Voice Director, Tony Pastor, Voice Director. Video game: a video game titled Peter Pan and the Pirates was released for the Nintendo Entertainment System by third-party publisher THQ. The game was generally received poorly by critics. In this single-player side-scrolling action game, the player controlled Peter Pan, who could collect bags of fairy dust to fly and wielded a sword that boasted a short range. The player started out in the forest and was required to destroy all the pirates in each level to advance to the next, with the final goal of reaching the pirate ship and battling Captain Hook. VHS and DVD releases. VHS select episodes from the series were released on video in 1992. They have long been out of print. Titles of these included United States, United Kingdom. DVD select episodes were released on a single DVD for the UK market in 2004. This is now also out of print. Episodes released included Coldest Cut of All, River of Night, Treasure Hunt, We Problem, The Girl Who Lives in the Moon. See also Peter Pan. References. External links: Peter Pan and the Pirates at the Big Cartoon Database, Fox's Peter Pan and the Pirates at the Internet Movie Database, Peter Pan and the Pirates at TV.com.